Most people believe being smart means knowing endless facts, reading more books, or remembering tiny details from school. But that kind of knowledge doesn't really change your life. Real intelligence is different. It's the ability to think for yourself, spot opportunities, and build your own path to success. It's about knowing how to actually get everything you want in life. Hello, fellow warriors. Welcome or welcome back to the Goddess of War. In the next few minutes, I'll share 7 simple habits that can actually make you smarter in ways that truly matter for your life. So if that sounds useful to you, let's get started. The first habit is to stay curious. Most people stop asking questions after school. They think curiosity is just for kids. But the truth is, curiosity is the engine of learning. When you stay curious, you notice details other people ignore. You ask, why does this work that way? Or, how could I do this differently? And every time you ask, your brain makes new connections. For example, recently I watched a lot of videos praising emotional detachment. Everyone seemed to think it was a great life skill. But something inside me said, wait, is this really true? A tiny bit of curiosity pushed me to dig deeper. I read dozens of psychology articles and studies, and I discovered that, in reality, emotional detachment can actually be harmful. Because of that one question, I ended up learning something the popular videos didn't tell me, and it completely changed my perspective. That's the power of curiosity. It turns ordinary moments into learning moments and gives you insight that most people never get. So think of curiosity as your superpower. Next time you feel bored, instead of scrolling mindlessly on your phone, ask one small question about the world around you. Those tiny questions train your brain and uncover new growth opportunities. Habit number 2 is to develop independent thinking. If you want to actually become smarter, you need to develop your own way of thinking. Independent thinking means questioning rules, beliefs, and systems instead of following them just because everyone else does. Most people never stop to ask themselves if something really makes sense. They just go along with trends, routines, or what's considered normal. To think independently, slow down and ask yourself, does this actually make sense for me personally? Look at things from your own perspective. Challenge assumptions, explore your own opinions, and don't be afraid to go against the crowd. For example, imagine everyone around you is following a 9-to-5 routine and tells you that's the safe path. Instead of blindly agreeing, take a moment to think critically. What are the benefits of a 9-to-5? Steady income, structure, lower risk. Now flip it. What if you tried something different, like starting your own project or business? You'd gain freedom, ownership, and bigger long-term potential. The point isn't to pick a winner right away. The goal is to train your brain to see both sides clearly. When you practice this regularly, you train your mind to think clearly and independently. You start seeing problems from all angles, make better decisions, and trust your own judgment. Instead of just accepting what others say, you rely on your own reasoning, and that's how you get smarter every day. Habit number 3 is to talk less and listen more. Most people don't really listen. They spend their time trying to prove a point, share opinions, or sound smart. But the truth is, you learn far more when you actually listen, because everyone knows something you don't. Listening carefully lets you pick up new ideas, spot patterns, and notice things you'd never think of on your own. And don't listen only to the same kind of people, friends, family, or popular voices on social media. If you want to get smarter, listen to a diverse range of people with different experiences, backgrounds, or perspectives. Keep in mind, though, that not everybody is worth listening to. That uncle at the family table who's stuck in the same outdated opinions for 50 years isn't worth your time. And that super shallow colleague at work who constantly gossips isn't worth your energy either. Talking with these kinds of people can actually make you less sharp because our mind absorbs the energy we spend. Don't start a conversation just for the sake of it. Focus on people who can truly expand your thinking. Ask questions, pay attention, and resist the urge to respond immediately. The more you practice this habit, the sharper your mind becomes. Habit number 4 is to turn overthinking into insight. If you catch yourself constantly going over situations in your head, imagining everything that could go wrong, and feeling stuck in your thoughts, then let me tell you something. Overthinking isn't a weakness. It's actually a sign that your mind is extremely active, deeply aware, and capable of amazing things. You notice details others miss and can think on multiple levels. The only challenge is that your brain sometimes doesn't know where to put all that energy, and that's when it can start working against you. So you need to stop letting overthinking control you and start using it to your advantage. Right now, when your thoughts feel overwhelming, your first instinct might be to distract yourself, put on music, scroll through your phone, or go shopping. But that actually teaches your brain to avoid thinking instead of handling it. You're not solving anything, you're just pushing it down. And the longer you avoid your thoughts, the louder and more chaotic they get. So next time you start overthinking, don't fight it, and don't distract yourself. Sit with your thoughts and let them unfold, a practical tool that can really help. And one you've probably noticed I'm a big fan of is journaling. Start simple. Jot down notes or write short reflections at the end of the day. Ask yourself questions like, what did I learn today? What confused me? What could I have done differently? Writing forces your brain to slow down and clarify your thinking. And when you do that, two things can happen. Either you'll realize some of the things you were worried about aren't that important anymore, or you'll gain clarity and come up with real solutions and very good ideas. Either way, you win. Overthinking isn't a curse, it's a gift that only feels heavy until you learn how to channel it into insight. Habit number 5 is to learn from real-world experiences. Think about it. Why do kids go on field trips? It's not just for fun. It's so they can experience in real life what they've learned in books. The same idea applies to adult life. The only real knowledge comes from experience and reflection. Travel, for example, teaches things no classroom ever can. You see how people live, deal with challenges, and solve problems in real situations. Volunteering, picking up a new hobby, or stepping into a completely unfamiliar environment does the same thing. Even your past painful experiences are some of the best real-life teachers. These experiences force you to think on your feet, adapt, and understand the world in ways theory alone never can. The next habit is to set very specific goals. Listen, it's not enough to just say, I want to get better, or I want to learn something. You need clear, specific goals that give you direction and motivation. For example, instead of saying, I want to learn guitar, say, I want to play one full song in 3 months. See the difference? A concrete goal gives you a target to work toward and a way to measure progress. The same goes for any skill or project, whether it's learning a language, starting a side hustle, or improving your fitness. Break it down into achievable steps. Then focus on consistent progress. Small, steady wins compound over time. And before you know it, you've achieved something that seemed impossible at first. Setting practical goals trains your brain to plan, execute, and evaluate effectively. And that's a key part of becoming smarter. And last but not least, the final habit is to let people underestimate you. Listen, you don't need to be seen as the smartest person in the room. In fact, it can actually work in your favor if you're not. When people don't see you as a threat, they're more honest. They share things they normally wouldn't, assuming you're not paying close attention. At the same time, be careful about who you open up to. Not everyone who asks questions is genuinely curious. Some are just gathering information to use against you, so guard your mind. Instead of trying to make others understand you, focus on understanding them. Listen more, talk less, think clearly, and let your actions and results speak for themselves. The smartest people aren't the ones talking the most, and I would even argue they're often the opposite. They observe, take in more than they give away, and use what they learn wisely. By letting others underestimate you, you gain insight, protect your energy, and position yourself to act confidently when it really matters. And that was just part 1 in becoming smarter. More videos on this will come out soon, so make sure to subscribe. It's time to unleash your inner confident goddess. See you in the next video, warrior.